This is a reading of Never Steal the Princess's Crown, written by MlpHero. A botched robbery. A young changeling walked through the city of Canterlot, butterfly knife in hand, as he peered around each and every corner possible. He bit his lip, not trusting this part of Canterlot that much, judging from the amount of guards in the area he was in. At least the ponies here looked somewhat rich. He breathed quietly. He slipped a bandana on before looking to the best house he'd seen in the city so far. Perfect. He walked over to the door, pulling out a bobby pin and a screwdriver. Lock's too strong, he thought upon attempting to hijack it. He looked around, trying to find an open window or something. He looked up. Aha! He cheered in his mind, finding the very window he was looking for. He buzzed his wings, lifting up to the window and peeking inside. Now, where is it? He looked around for the item of value. A glimpse of gold caught his eye. He smiled, noticing the object. There it is. He flew over to it, grabbing the gold crown, which looked more like a tiara, in his hand. Good to go, he said to himself with a grin. He flew out of the window, looking back at the sign that read Royal Polisher. He looked at the crown, noticing a single purple jewel on it. A rather familiar-looking jewel. He chuckled, realizing exactly whose crown he had just stolen. Jackpot. He flew down to the ground and continued trotting, passing by a white mare. A very tall mare, one with a flowing mane. He felt his eyes bulge against his sockets. He felt her eyes burning a hole through the back of his head, along with the dangerous glares of multiple other guards. It was that time the word entered his mind. Run. As if his legs were connected to his brain, he immediately burned off, leaving Celestia in a literal trail of dust. After him! Don't let him escape! A deep male voice bellowed. No! The changeling looked back to see a group of guards chasing him. He looked back in front of him, continuing to flee. He continued running before accidentally bumping into a guard at the front gates of some castle. Dang it! He yelled out. He looked around to see guards surrounding him at every angle. Heck, some even waited on the other side of the gate if he tried hopping it. The changeling swallowed heavily. Sorry? They immediately tackled him, fitting him with handcuffs and a magic suppressor. It was worth a try. Thankfully, and due to his age, the changeling couldn't be punished by law, meaning he was kinda stuck at Canterlot until Thorax and/or Pharynx came and picked him up, though nothing excused him from attempted theft, unfortunately. He had been sitting at a table, still cuffed and horn suppressed. He swallowed, just thinking about the possible consequences that awaited him. He hoped for something easy, like mopping or something. The changeling tapped a boot against the polished floor, trying to calm himself down as he awaited someone to walk in. He looked down at his feet. He chuckled, wiggling them, and wanting to know what ticklish punishment Thorax and Pharynx would have in store this time. It was more a common occurrence than anyone would think, really. It was quite the mischievous back home, after all. Oh well, the sooner he got this over with, the sooner he'd be able to get his much-deserved and much-loved tickling. He heard the door behind him open. He regained posture, trying to seem somewhat professional, before seeing two royal guards. Two soldiers of the worst military in Equestria, he chuckled with a smirk. Where's the Lunar Guard when you need them? Or better yet, the Saddle Arabian Guard. Hush, young lad, one of the guards snapped sternly. And why is that? You practically got me chained up. He'd show the cuffs on his wrists. See, why should I hush? The other guard sighed, turning to his partner. I told you we should have had him gagged. If you gagged me, the only thing you hear are even more annoying muffles. Be glad you have me ungagged. Not listening to any more of his snarky insults, the guards walked up to the changeling, pulling him up and leading him out of the room. So any punishment? Well, Her Majesty says she has a fitting punishment for you, hero. The changeling's eyes widened. How do you come with us? The two guards led him to Celestia's bedroom? What, no dungeons left? The changeling hero held back a snicker. The two guards rolled their eyes, throwing the changeling onto the bed. Oof, hey, softer with the landing next time, eh? He glared, watching as guards pulled out the second pair of handcuffs from a nearby drawer. What the? Celestia got a weird kink we don't know about? Look who's talking. The guard then uncuffed his wrist and started fastening the new ones onto them. The guard then looped the chain around the headrest, effectively trapping the changeling. Hero looked at the chains. He yanked on them, but alas, they were too strong. Dang! The cuffs held his hands in an arms-crossed position above his head, exposing his armpits. He started sweating. What's this for? Come on, this is stupid. Celestia and Luna will be with you shortly, a guard said, tying Hero's leg down before letting his fingers handle the straps on his boots. Hero soon felt a cold breeze on his feet and the thud of his boots. Then a finger lightly stroked his sole. Eek! Hey, cut it out! Hero curled his toes immediately. Wow, maybe we should have some fun before the princesses take him off our hands, one guard suggested. Mighty fine idea. Hero was sweating now. What? Wait! Too late. The guard closest to his head dug his fingers in the left armpit. No, hey! He screeched with laughter. The guard smiled. Ticklish, eh? Not the only ticklish changeling we've had. Hero's eyes bulged. What do you mean? Let's just say we've had some changelings come through here. Some were unluckier than others. The guard at his armpit skittered his fingers against all the particular spots on said armpit. Not there. He's right, though, the other guard stated. I remember that one changeling guy we had. Forgot his name, though. Yep, and besides, unlike some of the others, you seem to enjoy this. No, Hero blushed. No, I don't. Stop. Continued yanking. Stop, I'm sorry. He felt one of them pinching his small toes, making his laughter raise an octave. No, stop. Hero's toes were wiggling now. Tickle, tickle, Hero, the guard tickling his toes teased. I'm sorry, okay? Just stop. His eyes squeezed shut as he screeched in uncontrollable laughter. They soon heard the door open and what sounded like glass shoes on the floor. They looked over to see the two royal sisters walking in. A feminine chuckle was heard. Getting him warmed up, I see? Warmed up? Hero asked, eyes bulging. Luna walked over, holding a collar of some sort. Hero blinked, then glared. What am I, a dog? In ancient times, most slaves wore collars as a sign of them being low class or scum, Luna said, strapping the collar around his neck. A guard chuckled. And it seems the mantle has been picked up by you, Hero growled, gritting his teeth. Now you really look like a dog, the other guard teased. All right, you two, save the teasing for the real session. Luna walked closer to Hero, wiggling her fingers and smirking. Tell me, have you ever heard of slave tickling? She asked as she started facing Hero's shirt up. Sounds fucking horrible, Hero mumbled, looking down. Language, Luna teased, lifting his chin up. It's an old method, but a fun one. You may only refer to us as master, and you will obey what we say. Understood? Not like I have a choice, do I? Now you're getting it. Whatever, just get it over with. Master. Very well then. Luna trailed a finger along Hero's exposed belly. Hero didn't want to give them the satisfaction of bursting into laughter, so he held his breath. Luna fake pouted. Aw, you're no fun. Need some assistance, sister? Celestia stepped closer to the other side of Hero's belly. Always welcome. The two alicorns began skittering their fingernails along his tummy. No! He immediately burst out laughing. Aw, look at him, Celestia teased. Yes, such a sensitive belly he has. Hero managed to glare at them. Shut it! They grinned back at him, watching his tummy tease, flinch, and squirm. Hero started sweating as soon as he noticed their playfully evil grins. What? They smirked, reaching for their wings and plucking feathers, brushing the tips up and down his midriff. He began squirming. No, not that. Sorry, but punishment is punishment, Luna teased. Now, as your... She giggled, master, I order you to beg for more tickles. What? You heard me, beg for more tickles. Hero thought for a moment. His dignity and pride were on the line here. Would he really give it up for something so stupid? He looked down to see a feather teasing his navel. Oh, gosh. Will you beg now? Luna asked. Hero screwed his eyes shut, choosing his life over his pride. Fine, please, give me more tickles. The princesses smiled. They more than happily obliged, trailing the feathers all over his belly. Yes, tickle me more, masters. Hero seriously couldn't believe he was doing this. Sure, he loved getting tickled, but he never thought he'd ever go to this extent. Tickle, tickle, Luna teased. Tickle me more, he managed to laugh, still blindly following his orders. Luna smirked, now teasing his navel with both her fingernail and her feather. Oh gosh, began kicking, or at least he tried to. He was still chained up after all. It tickles so much. That's the point. The guards chuckled. They had been watching from the back of the room, close to the door. They had been focused on keeping guard, sure, but they soon spotted the changeling's feet and toes wiggling, and, well, couldn't resist. So, of course, they walked up to him. They reached for his squirming feet, gently stroking the wiggling soles. No, he squealed. Guys! Yes, Tickle Slave? Luna asked. Rose squeaked. He couldn't say anything due to how hard he was laughing. Sounds like he wants more, Celestia grinned, trailing her feather up his sides and into his armpits. Oh, is our little Tickle Slave tired? The older alicorn teased. Yes, he just barely managed to squeal. I am. Okay then, let's send him to sleep then. They immediately went all out on him. No way, that's not what I meant. Well, you're all our Tickle Slaves, so you must do as we say. They continued, getting each and every spot, even plucking a few more feathers, grabbing quills and paintbrushes, even attacking the holes in his legs. Nah! He screamed, tears pouring down his face like waterfalls. Don't worry, you'll be asleep before you know it. The poor changeling couldn't think straight. His belly, his armpits, his sides, his feet, all being tickled faster than they could keep up. His vision started rippling with shades of black, and his breath was ragged. Before he knew it, blackout. He awoke a few hours later in a bed, someone rubbing his back. He looked up. Shh, it's okay, you're safe now, a familiar voice said. Thorax. What? He felt a hand gently rub his belly, which was aching a bit. He looked over and saw an even more familiar cyan changeling staring at him. What happened? Pharynx snarled. The princess has happened. Hero rubbed his head. Thorax reached for a glass of water. Here. The changeling thanked him and took a sip. Whatever happened to them? Where are they? Back at their castle. Pharynx told him off about what they did, and he was mad. Thorax explained. You should have heard him. He was yelling at them so loud that the ponies in Canterlot City could hear him on the streets. Hero smiled at Pharynx, nuzzling him. Thanks, Papa Pharynx. Whatever, the changeling growled, puffing and folding his arms. Hero chuckled, laying back down. You know you love me. He knows he does. He's just still mad, Hero. I mean, they knew how young you were. Hero nodded, his eyes filling with a few tears. Aw, what's the matter, buddy? Thorax asked, lifting the changeling's chin up. It hurt. A lot, he muttered, trying to wipe the tears away. Thorax frowned, rubbing the nymph's eyes. It did? I mean, doesn't everyone have limits? Even me. It was kind of scary. Thorax and Pharynx looked at each other, then to the changeling in bed. Surprisingly, Pharynx was the first to move to him. Huh? Hero looked at him. Pharynx sighed and wrapped his arm around him. Not a word to anyone else, all right? All right. Pharynx rolled his eyes and pulled Hero close, rubbing his head. He watched as Hero returned the embrace. Yeah, get all your hugs in or whatever. I won't give a eek! Thorax blinked as he looked over. I won't give a eek, he parroted. Pharynx blushed, then looked down at Hero, noticing one of the nymph's fangs gently grazing his belly. Of course, he was wearing armor that exposed his midriff, which is what he sometimes wore when he wasn't training or battling. He giggled again, squeezing his eyes shut. Hero took notice. Are you ticklish? He poked his belly with his index fingers. Not so hard, okay, kid? Okay, then. He gently stroked his belly with his finger. How's that feel? Good. Hero smiled. Good. Hero continued to gently tickle his belly. Pharynx tickled and giggled and rubbed the nymph's head. Hero chuckled and yawned again. Sleepy? Hero chuckled. Yep. Pharynx chuckled and got up, then tucked the nymph into bed. Go to sleep, kid. Okay, Papa Pharynx. Hero smiled and yawned, curling up and soon falling asleep. The two brothers stepped into the room. As soon as they were out, Thorax smiled. Aw, you're so caring. Pharynx blushed. Shut up. Thorax's smile only widened. Aw, but think about it. You and Tempest can adopt him and he'll have a mother and a father again. Thorax, no. Thorax, shut up, he snapped, blushing. But alas, Thorax kept on talking as they walked away, much to the older changeling's dismay.